Hello. Well, this is my first Brocante haul and I'm just gonna show you some of my newest purchases and some of my favorite new things. They're all my favorite. But I want to explain a little bit about how I make my decisions and why. And also, an important thing is I was reflecting on the importance of vintage pieces and special pieces, and I realized this is kind of the way I communicate artistically. Each item becomes a little bit of a character and a story, and a home is a little bit like little stories that you go from room to room. And obviously it all has to tie together. But these are all important components that kind of add personality and expresses either nostalgia, romanticism, whatever you want to tell. So since we moved to Europe, I've been dying to get to this point of being able to go to Brocante, but I'm still in the process of getting the rooms together. So it's a little bit of a dangerous thing to do, is going shopping for things ahead of finishing rooms. So it's kind of like you have to dance back and forth, because sometimes the items will inspire you and take you in a direction, or they help you go in the direction you want to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the fantastic finds that are going to go, for example, on some of the rooms. And some are still kind of like floating in my head, don't have a home yet, but they will. So this particular piece, which is incredible, I don't think I could have found this in United States for the price I paid here. It's made out of solid white alabaster. It's been quite used. It has discoloration, but I love it. I think it's amazing, fantastic, and will end up in my main bedroom, the primary bedroom. I have an idea on how we're gonna display it and utilize it. I think it's gonna be an incredible architectural element in that room. I'm always looking for texture. I don't do much color in the house. I gravitate to muted, soothing colors. Here and there, I don't mind color on artwork, but just in small little, very poignant ways. But texture, it's a big element that I'm drawn to. That's why, the fibers I picked are intentional. I'm always looking for things that are somehow tactile. In this case, I found these cute little trays made out of wicker, and don't have a home yet, but they're fantastic pieces for corralling elements. You could put a candle, you can put a little dish. It just makes it cleaner and cuter when things are displayed on top of something, a plate, a tray, or something like this made out of wicker, and it adds beautiful organic texture. One of my favorite things to do that my jaw drops every time is finding vintage books. I started with this fascination in the United States. I collected a few. I paid a lot for them, and I used them for doing photography for my jewelry as a backdrop, as a way to lay beautiful necklaces or earrings. But here I have now a plethora of options, and I get so excited. I gasp every time I see books, and the more messed up they are, the better. And I love the little books. I love the coloration, the messed up pages. I love how the spines are kind of rugged, and I love them. So you'll see, every time I go to Brocante, I'm always looking for vintage books. And what they do is, again, they work as an element of architectural texture. They can add kind of like a base if you need more height on things. Fantastic element to have in shelves, on mantles, on tables. love books. The other thing I tend to have a little bit of an addiction are pictures of every size. I have so many and I never have enough. And they are a great, again, architectural, sculptural element and very utilitarian because you can put flowers, dry flowers, or even fresh flowers. You can put it, if they're made out of metal, you can put a little glass container inside so it's easier to clean the water. Or dry flowers, and they look super pretty, which is probably what I will end up doing with this amazing solid brass pitcher. I can't believe I found this. I love it. This little guy, I bought it because it was, again, super interesting in the shape. And then I discovered that it was meant for burning incense, and in the old times, it would provide a way to scent the home beautifully. You would put the incense inside, and when you're done, you would cover it back with a little lid, which I thought, again, is really cute. And I burn incense, so I thought it would be cool to have something not only beautiful, but practical. Here's another picture. Now, for this picture, I have an idea. I love that the lid is attached to it. And how I'm planning to utilize this is I'm gonna use it for holding matches. I like to have sandalwood throughout the house. And sometimes I like to have the matches nearby, so it just burns a little bit of sandalwood. It gives a nice scent to the home. So that's gonna be very utilized. I also found this solid brass, this is super Frenchy, little detailing that was probably either on a piece of furniture or, I don't know, outside the house. But my idea is I'll probably utilize this to kind of ornate a picture frame. So this will eventually be on the walls. This room, I'm collecting things for this room because this room will get quite a transformation. I'm planning to do some interesting stuff on the walls and on the ceiling. So I started collecting the elements that I want to see all around. Here is another piece that I took a gamble. It's quite heavy. It's made of cement. I don't know if it is really old or not. I think it was part of a water fountain. But I really like the shape. The carob is really cool. It has a little hook for hanging it, so I'm going to hang it. I could put it outside, but I think I'm going to put it inside. Potentially, it could be part of like a vignette on the wall together with artwork. I always like mixing artwork with plaster pieces, architectural elements, which takes me now to this other piece. This is made out of plaster. And this goes on the wall and you put a candle or a little statue. So I think this is absolutely gorgeous. So this will also be end up probably in this room in a wall. I'm also addicted to metal boxes, and the more messed up, the better. I have quite a collection of them. Probably one of these days I'll do a little video on my metal boxes collection. Now this one still has the original label, and it was for, I think, medicine for the liver. So I thought that was really cool. In this other one, it looks really simple, but I love the shape, and it came with this little surprise. And when I was buying it, I asked, oh, do I need to remove? And because I didn't want to pay for buttons, but the guy said, no, take it. It's a cadeau, which is a gift. So I got tons of cool little buttons, which I think I'm going to end up transferring them into a jar and put it as a decor element. So very happy with this. And finally, I have two more pieces to show. I have this one, which I think is my favorite mirror so far. I love the more messed up things are, the better, because to me, it tells a little story. I find a lot of interest in things that got used and show wear and tear because they were loved, they were enjoyed, and they have history. This is solid wood, which is hard to find. Usually frames like this are made out of plaster. And I'll show you my last piece, which is not in this frame, that it is made out of plaster. But this one is solid wood, and I just love how messed up it is. You know, I guess some chemical damage or, I don't know, humidity damage, but one of my favorites for sure. And finally, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna show you a recent mirror I got. This one is made out of plaster. So here is my other favorite piece. I eyed this in this Brocante I discovered that I'm planning to go many times. It was in a corner. It's very messed up, but that's what I like about it. It's made out of plaster and it has a lot of damage, which I will touch up with some gold, or I'm gonna experiment a little bit, but I actually like that it's not perfect and that it has missing chunks, and I find it more beautiful that way. Definitely a plus is the fact that there is moisture damage on the mirror. So very happy with it. I really like collecting pieces that are old and messed up. I think it's one of my favorite things. I don't know, it's just they show a lot more personality that way. So you'll be seeing a lot of these pieces eventually incorporated because I'm still in the process of doing the bedrooms and Josh's office. These elements were an important aspect of the process, getting inspired by it, filling in the little nooks and crannies, giving them a little bit of that flair and vignettes and all the things that take time. Because it does take time to find the right piece that speaks to you. It takes a lot of discipline. When I go to these places, there's a lot of things I want, but I have to stay focused. Right now, I'm working on just the bedroom. So I only need to look for a bedroom. Like, I see a lot of things that I want for the kitchen, but I'm not ready for the kitchen because I still need to do other things before that. So anyway, I just am grateful being able to go to these wonderful places where all these pieces that used to live in other homes now live in mine. I hope you found this useful and inspiring. This is a great way to go to flea markets and thrift stores and kind of look for special pieces that speak to you. They don't have to be expensive, and kind of give you a great way to activate creativity. And like I said, for me, this is how I write stories. I use objects to tell stories, and I love it and I find it extremely fulfilling. And hopefully this will inspire for you to do the same in your home. Before I go, I wanted to remind you that I have a Patreon that I would love for you to join. It would be a great way to support my channel. It's a fantastic place where a group of people get together, have interesting discussions about home decor, spirituality, the important stuff that feeds your soul. So I hope you join. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, I will show you how I style my new beautiful urn. I'm using reindeer moss, cardboard paper, 2 plates to trace, a pencil, a glue gun with refill sticks. I trace 2 circles using the plates, then cut them out with scissors. First the large circle, then the smaller inner circle. I make sure it fits. Next, I take my corkscrew hazel branches and check that the cut-out circles fits around them. Now, I'm ready to glue the reindeer moss onto my circle template. I glue each piece carefully, making sure to fully cover the cardboard. I want it to look full and lush with moss. Then I arrange the branches inside the urn with the coated circle placed around them. Finally, I add more moss on top to make it fluffy. And voila!